Mata Heating and Air Conditioning, 724-2010-500, Mata Heating and Air Conditioning. And we're also sponsored by Mike Dotson Realty. Call Mike today, area code 410-596-1681. If you're looking for a vacation home in Ocean City, you're looking for a summer home, you're looking for any kind of home, any kind of rental, anything, call Mike today for anything involving real estate. Been in the business over 20 years, 410-596-1681. All right, I do one spot per customer if I like you, and I'll give you one free spot on my shows. After that, you pay. All right, so I want to put a shout out to Abby's Diner in Ocean City, Maryland, Randall Racetrack Road. Good food, good service, nice people. Go in there, check out Abby's Diner. Also, excuse me, you can go to DoorDash and have it delivered to your house as well. So I just want to put a shout out to Abby's Diner. All right, let's get started. Our panel today is our special guest, and we'll start with him first. Is Mike Simsak from the Amped Up Sports. Mike, welcome to the program, and tell everybody how they can get a hold of you and all your shows you have going on and things.
Yep, Mike, you can get a hold of me on the Amped Up Sports. We're on the various social media platforms. I also work with Too Many Guys Sports on YouTube. We do cover all those niche sports that nobody cares about, like soccer and rugby and cricket and everything else. So, yeah, Mike Simsak, Amped Up Sports, and Too Many Guys Sports.
All right. We got Brian Pettit from the Tiger Paw Network. I'm sorry, I keep doing that, Brian. To you, I apologize.
You're fine. You can find me on X at Brian Pettit 34, and also so you can find me on YouTube at Tiger Stripes Media on that. So yeah, that's about the only two places right now I'm doing anything at.
So, all right. Also, we have Pensman Sports joining us. Pensman, welcome to the program. Good morning.
Good morning. You can find me on Pensman Sports on YouTube, and you can find me on X on Pensman Sports.
All right, guys, let's get started with our show here. First, I want to talk about Deion Sanders. And those of you who don't know, Deion Sanders had some kind of cancer. It involves his bladder. He's had his bladder removed, and he's got, he's been sick, but he's managed to keep himself together. And he's going to be back with the Colorado Buffaloes head coaching and doing what Deion Sanders does. A lot of people know what Deion Sanders does. His sons are out there playing football and whatnot. He's done a great job with Jackson State. Did a good job with Colorado. All right, Mike Simsak, since you're the guest today, or a special guest, we'll let you get started. Deion Sanders, your thoughts, Mike? Go ahead.
I mean, it's unusual to hear a lot about Deion's personal life in that manner, to hear that he survived, that he had the operation, he had gone through treatment through cancer, but had been still managing. I know he'd spent some time away from the team. We wish him all the best health. It's going to be a very interesting season for him out in Colorado. This is the first time that he's not bringing Travis Hunter and Shedeur Sanders with him in his coaching career. So, it's really going to be a test of his recruiting efforts, how well he is able to put together a team. This was a team that hadn't been relevant since Eric Bieniemy was running against Notre Dame in the Orange Bowl to win to try for a national championship. And all of a sudden, this is a legitimate program with a Heisman Trophy winner. They went to a bowl, so I'm interested to see what next season looks like for him and how he is able to manage recruiting, coaching, and NIL and all of those payments out in Colorado, which doesn't exactly have the richest history when it comes to football.
All right, Pensman Sports, go ahead. Your thoughts, Deion Sanders.
You got to do what you got to do to recover, and I feel bad for the man because he was an icon when he was playing, but if you have to have your bladder removed because of a thing, then so be it. As long as you're still alive, that's all that matters. But like Mike said, I hope he does well in Colorado. I don't follow him, but I like to see how he does without his son there and everything. So, and recruiting, hopefully he does well too.
All right, before I get to Brian here, Josh, this is not false advertising. Leo is part of my show here. Okay. Leo had some other obligations to take care of. Okay. So those of you who are making comments about that Leo's not on here and it's false advertising, no, it is not false advertising. Leo will be on as soon as Leo gets it in, with his schedule. All right. So Leo does come on his program. All right. And Leo is my co host here. But like I said, Leo has stuff going on. So, and I get it and I understand that. So, there we are. All right. Brian Pettit, go ahead. Sorry
when
to
I
interrupt.
when it first broke on last week, my theory was, man, how bad could this be? It's two, they won, they won the Heisman. Colorado won the Heisman this year with Travis, and my thing was when it first came out was, is he going to retire? But after hearing his conference, I kind of felt more bad for him because he's had a lot of things going on. He had his foot removed, his toe, and you just feel bad for him because now he's got bad luck, and and it just breaks my heart that it hit for him being so athletic to him just going downhill like that. This is one of those things.
Yeah.
Turn.
Oh, yeah. The big C will hit you whether you're healthy or you're not healthy.
Yeah.
I call cancer the big C because that's what it is, really. I mean, and I feel bad for Deion Sanders. I've never been a fan of his, but I will tell you, I do feel bad for the man because of what his health. But I'm glad that he's back. I'm glad he's doing what he's doing because a lot of people, like myself, of course, excuse me. Wow, I'm in a wheelchair, and a lot of people that are in wheelchairs, they don't do anything. They don't want to do anything. They're so depressed or upset. I don't let that get to me. And you see, I do things like this here and stuff like that. So just to let everyone know, if you're sick, come back. Deion Sanders should be an inspiration to those who are sick and just choose not to come back and do anything and just let the sickness take them. But I'm not going to do that. I would never do that. So, All right. We have some comments here, Cyberuski and Josh. They're not involving the topic. But I do want to acknowledge you. I want to end your thanks for your comments as well. All right. So since they're not part of the program, I am not going to put them up. The only reason I put that other comment up, Josh, was because I wanted to let everyone know that that's not true. All right. So it's not false advertising. It's just a fact that Leo has a busy schedule, and I get it. Right, Mike? Mike knows about Leo. Yeah, he's got
he asked me. He had some stuff going on. I know he's been traveling recently for football camps, and he's got a lot going on. I had another obligation. No big deal. I'm sure he'll be back in short order.
All right, guys. Let's talk about the NFL here. We have training camps have started up. Mike covers the Washington Commanders, Baltimore Ravens, Pittsburgh Steelers. Brian, on the other hand, covers the Carolina Panthers in his end of town. And Pensman, he likes the Eagles and some other teams here in the Steelers and whatnot. All right,
I don't follow the Eagles at all, buddy.
I know, but yeah, well,
Mike, I have one question for you before you. I know you, since you covered the thing. What do you think where Terry might fall in, or where do you? I mean, I know you're going to talk about, but my one of my things is where's Terry going to fit in? Is he going to be resigned, or do you think he will go to another team? Real quick.
I figured that we'd get to this. I don't see the Commanders trading Terry because at this point, I don't see where they can trade him and get the return that they need to challenge again this season. I think it was a major strategic misstep by Adam Peters to not get this done earlier and let this get to this point. I understand that there's a massive difference in their valuation and his valuation, and it's easy to understand. They're saying he's turning 30. They want to sign a contract extension closer to the Cortland Sutton Mike Evans range, which is what, 20 to 23 million. He's saying I have DK Metcalf stats. I want to be in that top 10 range, which is 33 million. It's been common knowledge since the end of the season that he was not going to work out without a contract extension. The fact that they let it get to this point, and the only thing that he had left was to say that he wanted to trade. He's not the first player, even this season. We saw it with Myles Garrett. We're seeing it now with Micah Parsons. I don't think that they can do this, get it done. A wide receiver room for the Commanders with Deebo Samuels, Noah Brown, and Luke McCaffrey just isn't as dangerous as it would be with Terry in there. And I think that they need to get it done. I assume that there will be some sort of middle ground because both sides need to come out with winners. It's interesting, though, that they're doing this because they just gave up draft capital to sign Deebo, who's actually making a couple of $1 million more than Terry is this year. Terry's getting 15.5, Deebo's getting 17. If I'm Deebo and I'm saying they're not going to pay Terry an extension that he wants, and they want him to take 20, what are they going to ask me to do? Because he's out of contract this year, and he's only 6 months younger than Terry. So they've got to figure out where they're going to go with him as well.
Okay. All right. There's your answer there. Brian, you cover the Carolina Panthers. What are they looking like on this year?
I haven't really tuned into them much, but what I've been hearing is they're just I don't know. It depends. I know that they're just doing preseason. They're just doing the preseason stuff. So that's what Atlanta's doing too, also. But they're just doing what they need to do during preseason. I guess warm-ups. They're really not. I haven't heard much of anything. There's kind of this small talk kind of a deal because no press and no media has really been out there for Panthers right now because they've got a closed, thing down there.
Yeah, closed practices.
Closed practice. So you don't get much of what they're doing. They're keeping it tight. So.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Hey, I don't blame them. I mean, a lot of times. All right, Dominic Orlando is watching from in Las Vegas. Dom, thanks for being part of the program. And Dom and I grew up together years ago in Bloomfield section of the city of Pittsburgh. And Dom is now, I believe, still in Las Vegas with his family. And I want to thank Dom for tuning in on Facebook. Anyone else wants to comment or tune in? As long as it involves the show, you can make any or topics. You can put in any kind of comments you want, as long as it involves the show. Anything else will not be aired on the air. So I just want to let everyone know that as well as we go along. All right, nothing against anyone. No offense. Just I only put up stuff that relates to the topic at hand. All right, Pensman, go ahead with you. Steelers, go ahead.
I don't know if you heard, Ralph, since both of us follow the Steelers, but did you hear about the big fight between the two people? I forget who it was. I just heard there was a big fight in training camp, but it was not that. It got cooled off real quick. But
well, you know what? I like that. I want intensity. I want fighting. I want
that's right.
I want the whole thing like that. Because if the Steelers are talking about going to, well, of course everybody talks about going to the Super Bowl. That doesn't mean everybody makes it. Okay.
Right.
That should be the ultimate goal in the NFL. And I think everybody here on a panel will agree with me, is that to go to the Super Bowl. And if you're not going to the Super Bowl, you shouldn't be in this game. Bill Cowher said that once. Okay. So I'm going to say it again. Yeah, they're looking to go to the Super Bowl. Aaron Rodgers, Jalen Ramsey, DK Metcalf, a bunch of people that they brought in. And there's more. They got $20 million under the salary cap still that they can play with the Steelers. So they got a lot of money. So, I mean, and I know what they're doing. They're sitting back. They're waiting until training camps are over. They're waiting until the preseason is over, when cuts start happening. You might find what they call a gem in the rough. You might find somebody who is being released by another team. You know what I mean? Now, Dallas has a Michael Parsons problem now. Okay, they don't want to give him a contract. So somebody like that might even be showing up. You don't know who's going to get cut and who's going to show up. And guess what? A change of atmosphere is always the best thing. And you know what's funny? And the Steelers are loading up this year with free agents for the first time ever, Pensman. I think you'll agree with me
Right.
on this, and guys
Oh
on the
yeah.
panel. They're loading up with free agents to try to go to to go to the Super Bowl. Because I've made two comments. Mike Tomlin will never, ever go to another Super Bowl or win another one, and he'll be done in the next 2 years when he reaches his 20 years. That's number one. That's my prediction. Number two, if the Steelers go to the Super Bowl, win, lose, or draw, I will do all my shows naked because I was wrong about what I said about Mike Tomlin. That's my thing. So,
Let's hope this is
So-
the first time that I
Don't-
hope that doesn't go to the Super Bowl, Ralph.
what's that?
Mike's scared.
First time that I've been rooting against Mike Tomlin to go to the Super Bowl.
They go to the Super Bowl. I mean,
Mike's scared.
I will do all my
I'm a little.
because I'm
Ralph,
telling you,
I don't want you for that, and I don't want that for your show.
Mike, I'm not wrong that often. All right, you can ask Smoke and Jim Frazier. I'm not wrong that often. All right, but when I am wrong,
I hope.
when I'm
But
putting myself,
normally I would be rooting for Mike to go to the Super Bowl. I want him to win another one, but this is the first time that I'm actively like, no, Mike, don't do it to yourself.
Mike, I'm gonna comfort here. You're only gonna see this part up. That's it.
Yeah,
you're
exactly.
you're not gonna see waist deep.
I just don't need. We don't need all of that.
Yeah, well,
Hey,
there's
Mike,
some people that they're going to Super Bowl and they're going to keep your clothes on. I said, well, yeah, my clothes will be on because you know why? They're not going to Super Bowl. That's that. As long as Mike Tomlin is the head coach, they will not go to the Super Bowl. Trust me, I'm telling you. All right, go ahead, Brian. What were you saying? I'm
I
sorry.
was going to say, I hope my 49ers make it to the Super Bowl at some point during the lifetime again.
Oh my gosh.
Now that they know
crazy.
the new rules about the tie.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, yeah. Well,
I had to
they
put it
need-
there, Brad. I had to.
I know. Thank you.
Guys, here's a question since we're talking about rules about the kickoff stuff, the silly rules like that. Mike, we'll start with you. What do you think about these silly rules that some of them they've come up with?
Well, I will say that the kickoff rule is I'm not the biggest fan of it. I can understand the gunners and the need for player safety when you look at the speed of these collisions, but it just doesn't look right. It doesn't feel right. And if you're going to do that, why not just take the kickoff out of the game entirely? Just start every drive on the 25 and let's go from there, because it seems now like such a meaningless play.
Right.
I don't understand it. I don't think the teams understood. Now, they said they did some tweaks to it, which this year to make it so there were more potential kicks. But last year, to me, under this new rule, it looked weird, and it took basically a play. It just was a dead play after each score because there were so few kickoffs. So I wasn't a huge fan of it.
All right, we're on YouTube, Facebook, Twitch, Twitter, X, and we're also on the Kick Network, the Huddle Sports Network, and we're also broadcasting on YouTube channels of Pensman and Brian, and also we will be on this show will be uploaded onto Amped Up Sports' Facebook page and several other social media platforms that I'm involved in as well. And I want to let everyone know I'm working on other platforms to get us on. I've been working diligently because I'm back full-time handling my media stuff right now after my move down here to Berlin, Maryland. And I just want to let everyone know that as well. And just because I live in Maryland, and if you can see my shirt here, it says just because I live in Maryland, I'm still a Steeler fan. So I want to let everyone know that as well. So, I'm not really a fan. I just report about what goes on with the Steelers, as well as Mike Simsack, Pensman, and several others of us that report about the Steelers as well. All right, your thoughts, Pensman, about some of these rules. Go ahead. The kickoff rule and all the other ones, some of the ridiculous ones that they come up with. You there, Pensman?
Oh,
Hello.
yeah, I'm here. I'm good. No, I want to give a shout out to the sports. Yeah, I'm giving a shout out to Sports Nut. The Sports Nut just came in, so I'd like to say hi to him. So,
Oh,
Yep.
right.
yeah, but he just came in, so just want to say hi to him. But the kickoff rule is stupid. College football, if you watch every college, I don't care what team you follow, you watch every game, but they have regular kickoffs. Just let it just do what the NFL does. Like just do what the college does. The NFL, I don't know why you have to change it up. Like Mike said, it's stupid, it's pointless, it's dead. Just do the coin toss. Be like, all right, which way do you want to defer? Okay, you were going that way. Okay, here's the ball. Start at the 25-yard line. The kickoffs are stupid. You have to you have to kick a certain distance and then watch till halftime of the Detroit Lions and the Chargers Hall of Fame game. And I forget who it was. Some team was even kicking it below the line that you have to kick it to when there was penalty. There's like 3 penalties that because they didn't kick it far enough. Come on, just go back to just do what college does or get rid of the kickoff. Period.
Yes, absolutely. Hey, do what college does, or do what the USFL or the XFL used to do. They put the football out in the middle and you run after it, and then if you get it, you take it and run with it. So you don't need a kicker. That's one less piece of money you got to pay. You know what I mean? So especially with the salary cap these days. Brian Pettit, go ahead. Your thought.
Yeah, I want to shout out to the Sports Nuts guys too.
Yes, absolutely.
Also, yeah. My thing is on this take about the kickoffs. Let's just get rid of it. I mean, you're going to start from the 25 every time. You're not going to. I mean, what's the chances of this year? I'm going to try to keep up with it this year with the stats. I'm going to see how many times they actually start. Well, how many times they're going to run it back this year. Let's just start at the 25, like Mike said, and just start them at the 25. Then let's start them there. First down and 10 at the 25.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah.
Because it's ridiculous.
Forget all about it. Yeah.
Yeah. Because it's kind of ridiculous about it, though. They're changing all these rules, and also the one thing that I did like, and I watched the game. I did the sidecast of the game. I did like how they did the first down. That was actually interesting how they did the first down and everything, the AI deal or whatever they did. That was actually pretty good because they actually spotted the ball and they gave him the first down. They're like, wait, we're not going to do the chain and everything. So I kind of like that, how they did that,
All right, Pensman. There you go. I like that. All right, there you go.
The Sports Nuts said we ain't ever going to see another D Wade or even CP 84. We might.
Yeah, you never know. There you go.
There's always somebody out there that's going to be as talented as the legends.
Absolutely.
Just gotta find them.
Got to find the right ones. All right, Major League Baseball had some trades this past week. Mike, I don't know if you cover the Washington Nationals or not, but I know I don't know what they've done. Maybe you can enlighten us on a few things here.
Well, first with the trade deadline, I recently just read that the Minnesota Twins called up the ghost of Kirby Puckett and Burt Blyleven because they were so short of players after trading half their roster.
10 players, Mike. 10 players.
10 players on a 26-man roster. The fact that they got 10 players.
I got to send the alarm out. I got to send the alarm out for players. There you go.
Yeah, the fact that you had other major league teams that wanted to trade for 10 of your players on your 26-man roster, that probably should have been an inkling that, hey, our roster's not that bad. So I don't know what they were doing up there. The Washington Nationals made a few minor trades. I think the two biggest ones were Mike Soroka and Kyle Finnegan. The Nationals aren't really they're still kind of in this stalled rebuild that has been going on far too long. We thought that at the end of last year that maybe this would be the year that it takes a step forward. It seems like it went in reverse again. Ended up with the manager and the general manager both getting fired. Wrote a bit. The Orioles traded away a number of pieces. Cedric Mullins, I know, went to the Mets. Sir Anthony Dominguez was a funny one. He got traded in the middle of traded to Toronto in between games of a doubleheader against Toronto. So in between games, he had to walk from one. He had to pack up all of his stuff in the Orioles locker room and walk to the Toronto Blue Jays locker room, and then they showed him walking out to the Toronto bullpen, and all the guys in the Orioles bullpen are giving him crap. And 5 minutes before, these guys were his teammates. It was a
That's
funny
interesting.
thing.
That's interesting when they make those kind of trades, Mike. I mean, I've seen that happen
So,
with the Pirates.
yeah, in the first game of the doubleheader, he pitched for the Orioles, and the second game he pitched against the Orioles. I don't know how many times that happened. They traded Ryan O'Hearn. So the O's kind of not that they had put some things together recently. They've been on a nice little winning streak that got ended yesterday, a 1-0, 1-0 loss to the Cubs. But they've kind of shut it down. It's going to be interesting to see where this goes after back-to-back 90-plus win seasons and making it to the playoffs. For them to go through this season, it has been an absolute disaster.
Yes, absolutely, it has. And the Orioles, I'm actually quite surprised they've slid a little. This year, they were in the playoffs last year against the Yankees, I believe, and so now
Coming into the season, they had pitching was a major issue for them,
right.
And they didn't do enough to address that during the off season, and so pitching has remained an issue throughout the season. And if you don't have good starting pitching, you're not going to win games.
No, not at all. All right, Pensman Sports, the New York Yankees, man, they were busy.
Yeah, busy. Okay. If you don't know, this is the virtual.
No, I mean, they traded for Bednar and a few other people.
Yeah. Oh, I know what you mean. But I'm at the virtual Yankee stand behind me. If you don't know me, I cover the Yankees. I cover the Penguins and the Steelers, but I do cover other teams. But the Yankees. If you have not paid attention to my videos, start paying attention, because trade deadline, I came on and did a video. We got Jake Bird from the Colorado Rockies. I said at the trade deadline that he's going to come in the seventh inning. The Yankees had a wonderful lead. It was 9-4 in the seventh inning. He comes in and gives up a grand slam home run, and the Marlins cut it down to 9-8. And then Bednar comes in and he gives up the tying run. And then Duvall, he ends up losing the game. Camiello, he came from over from Tampa Bay. He can't even get a fly ball into. The ball went by him because he went to scoop it. He had to run, and then that's how Jaso had to go and get a triple, and then they ended up winning the game after 20 feet of hitting the ball, 20 feet from the home plate. Come on, Cashman, get your act together. If you want to play, if you want to get that 28th World Series, I want a World Series before I die. So make it happen, Cashman.
All right, Brian Pettit, go ahead. Baseball, go ahead. Trade.
What everybody's been talking about, I haven't really paid attention. I've been kind of busy with my two kids, but I haven't really followed much of what the Cubs did. I know that Pensman told me that they did something. What's his name?
Castro.
I think he'll do okay, but I don't know if they made enough moves. I think they still need a lot of batting. I think they need some infield and some of those other guys, but we'll see. It's still a long season for the Cubs, and all the Atlanta fans around here where I live are probably hiding, or they're definitely hiding because their team is not doing so well at all. So, and they're not going to make it. Atlanta is not even going to make it to the playoffs probably. So, yeah, they're done for the year.
And the Cubs won last night, 1-0.
Yeah.
There you go. It's better than what the Pirates did. They lost 17-16. So there you go. So, they were up like 16-9 or 10 or something, or even more than that, I think. But, To lose close games like that, there's big problems here, and we all know the dumpster fire that the Pirates are. And I'm not going to go there because here's what I want to happen with the Pirates, but I know you can't. Like the Rolling Stones always says, you can't always get what you want. And I want to tell you, this is what I want. Okay,
Ready,
and I'm sure
go.
everybody will be in the agreement. And let me see if I can find it first. All right, let's look here. All right, oh, I got it, but I got to find it. For it, I find it, we'll have it. Leave it straight. I knocked it out by accident. I think that's it there. No, that's not it. That's my other production sign there. Let me see what we got here. Ah, here it is. Guys, ready?
Bam.
There it
Look at that.
Sell
Look at that.
Sell the Pittsburgh Pirates, please. Somebody sell them. Tampa Bay Rays, I heard, are for sale as well. Some of these teams, maybe they need a new owner. They need some refreshment. They need somebody to put some money into things because baseball still doesn't have a salary cap, which puzzles me to death. You know what I mean? Every other sport practically has a salary cap except for them, and and it's really shameful what goes on in baseball with this stuff. All right, let's talk about college football.
Real quick,
Yes,
that's one of the big things that Rob Manfred is pushing for with the next collective bargaining agreement.
Really?
There was a serious altercation in between Ralph Manfred and Manfred and Rob Manfred and
right.
Bryce Harper when Manfred came to speak to the team, and Bryce basically told him to get the F out their locker room because he was talking about a hard salary cap.
Ooh.
So
Yeah.
I know it is something that they have brought up.
Bryce Clark should be suspended because you don't talk like that to the commissioner. I mean, you really don't. I mean, but that's me. That's me.
That's up to the commissioner and stuff like that. But it did go down. He really got up in his face talking about the salary cap. So there is a proposed that is something that the commissioner's office, and if the commissioner's office there is enough of an ownership that is pushing for it, it's just going to be what they're going to have to give to the players to get it. I also know that they have to negotiate some TV rights deals now because ESPN pulled out. So
yes, ESPN.
They're trying to centralize all of their broadcasting, take away the local broadcast rights, which is also going to be an issue. But that might benefit somebody like the Pirates because they could generate some more revenue than they get through their local broadcast if they're getting a share of a national broadcast, a bigger national broadcast pot.
Right, exactly. So I mean, and it's crazy out there what's going on here with some of this stuff. And by the way, let's move. We're going to move on to college football here real quick. But before we do that, breaking news: NFL broke a contract last night or yesterday with ESPN. So all of the key games will be on ESPN. You got the NFL Network, you got CBS, you got Fox, and NBC does the night games. So everybody's involved now. But ESPN's going to be more involved now that the NFL signed a contract with ESPN. Pensman, go ahead. Your thoughts on that real quick.
It makes it easier for people to watch football and save their money. There's a lot of streaming you could do. So now that ESPN has a contract with them, they can go to ESPN instead of saving $200 to $100. So I'm for it. ESPN does a good job. They cover baseball and Sunday Night Baseball and stuff like that. So why not? I'm down for it.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And correct me if I'm wrong, but I think ESPN picked up the NBA contract as well. So did NBC. The NBA will be on NBC again. It was off of there for a little while. They lost TBS, TNT lost it, and now they're going to be moving to ESPN and also to NBC. Brian Pettit, your thoughts on this contract?
About the new contract, I think it'll be actually a good contract. The one I know they signed it and everything, but I mean, you think about me being a 49ers fan, I actually get to watch now probably on ESPN app or something, the 49ers or the NFL, the NFL app too. So, you could do a lot of things now. People can cross thread, you can watch one game on ESPN and one game on the NFL now for their app, and that would be kind of cool. And then if you have a third TV, you might have 3 games on at one time. So, you know, you don't have to worry about the markets around the area. You can just watch different games now if they do that though.
Yeah,
But that'd
absolutely.
be kinda cool.
living room, den, and kitchen. All
Yeah,
key.
there you go, all 3. Or all 4 televisions on one different channel.
And
Yeah,
forgot
there
the
you go.
bathroom.
Yeah, you got the family. Yeah.
All
I hate
right,
to break
Mike.
it to you, this is not the this is just the red zone. They sold the red zone to ESPN
Yes.
from
Yeah.
NFL Media. It's not so if you're like me and you live out of your local team's market, Brian, you're still going to have to pay for the season ticket if you want to see out of market games. I think it's look. ESPN is launching that new direct to consumer platform that's going to cost $30 a month. They need programming, so it makes sense to me that they would do this. I don't really have any problems with it. It's going to make the red zone a little bit more accessible.
Yeah.
All right. We are, this last segment here was brought to you in part by Robin Campbell Insurance. If you live in Western Pennsylvania, 412-366-3399. Call Robin today. Farmers, Bristol West Insurance, Life Insurance, home, auto, and renters insurance. Very important. A lot of people don't realize renters insurance. Very important to go out and get that, because I will tell you this right now, and nothing against anybody that's a landlord. Do not trust your landlord. Okay, if he tells you he's going to fix your house and he doesn't fix it, and a fire happens or something like that, you're covered. Renters insurance is less than $1 a day, and it can be picked up. Call Robin today. 412-366-3399. Renters insurance. I urge everyone to get it. I had it when I lived in an apartment. I urge you to get it, because sometimes things like if you're living in an agency building or something and they don't have any kind of insurance, you might want to get it in case something happens. We're in the Mata Heating and Air Conditioning Studios, 724-2010-500. Mata Heating and Air Conditioning, and we're also sponsored by Mike Dotson Realty, 410-596-1681. And if you are interested, or he's in Ocean City, Maryland, Mike, give him a call for some great real estate. All right. Also, if you're interested in sponsorship advertising, Ralph Williams 737 at gmail.com or 412-545-4317. Listen, if you don't do this, something's wrong with you, because I have the best advertising plan there is. All my podcasts here on social media, a spot on my website, www.rwmediaproductions.com. And you get my 2 radio shows up in Pittsburgh, which I'm going to put up here right now. This morning, we had a lot to talk about on the Ralph Williams, Tony Moreno show, and that is every Saturday morning. It's part of the triple header of Ralph Williams every Saturday, and it starts at 8 a.m. with the Ralph Williams, Tony Moreno show. And then afterwards, later on, right after 2 o'clock, 2 to 3 p.m., every Saturday, 12:50 a.m. The Answer, 92.5 on the FM dial, and 12:50 The Answer, PGH.com, which is what some people listen to my shows, for in the Pittsburgh and surrounding area, and also all across the country and around the world. I want to say hi to our fans in Alaska, Texas, Utah, Idaho. Oh, we got everywhere. Texas, I mentioned that. Georgia, also in the Carolinas, thanks to Brian Pettit. And also we have some other fans as well. The middle of Pennsylvania, thanks to Pensman. Thanks to Mike Simsack. We got some stuff going on around Maryland here. So, we got fan base everywhere, all across the country and around the world. My sister in the UK, Jill, I want to send a shout out to her as well. Every Saturday, 2 to 3 p.m., 12:50 a.m. The Answer, 92.5. The Sports Corner Radio Show with me, Ralph Williams, Smoking Jim Frazier, and Claudia Rosano, and Luther Dupree. All right. Okay, guys, let's talk about college football real quick. Let's start with you, Mike Simsack, since you're our guest. What do you think scenarios you want to paint here for this year's college football?
a couple of years ago, in his second and final season at LSU, Joe Burrow burst on the scene, led him to a national championship. In his second and final season at um, LSU, Jaden Daniels propelled himself up to the number 2 draft pick. Gus Niemeyer is now in his second final year at LSU. They have an immense amount of talent all around the field. Uh, I'm interested to see what he does, because if they are not in the college playoff picture come the end of the season, I think it is curtains for one Mr. Brian Kelly in Baton Rouge. They've got all the
Oh,
talent. They should be
yes.
there or thereabouts.
Yes. All right, Mike, and then now we'll go to Brian. I know you cover Clemson, but what's your thoughts on college football this year? Who's good? Who's not? Who's getting fired?
I agree with Mike. If he doesn't do well at LSU, I think he'll be gone. But I think they'll win. It depends on what they do at Clemson here when they play here in a couple months. I know Kelly has lost to Clemson in Death Valley, but I think he'll. I don't think he'll last long. I mean, it depends on what he does. But I really do think the only thing that I've heard out of a Clemson camp is that Klubnik has gained 5 more pounds, and a couple of the defensive linemen has lost a couple of pounds. I think they were talking about one of the guys that he's lost 20 pounds already, down to 205 or 207 now. So they're getting stronger, and that's what I've heard so much. So,
all right, the sports nuts say Kelly ain't been good in a long time. No, he hasn't. I'll tell you when he was good in Cincinnati, when he coached the Bearcats. Then he went to Notre Dame, and he kind of was like, here and there. Now he's with LSU, and he's still that way. So I would say he's mediocre in most cases. So those are the 3 teams he's been the head coach of. He did well in Cincinnati, and of course you can if you if you play your cards right in Cincinnati, who I always acknowledge as the team that is in the city, just like Pitt. But Cincinnati sells out their games and Pitt can't. Even if Cincinnati loses, they still sell out most of their games, and they're right in the thick of things with the Bengals. So I don't want to hear about fans not showing up at games because of this, and this. No, you need to support your university. Get there if you want to support it or whatever. I've been supporting Pitt, and I've been around the game with Pitt since I was 5 years old. And I used to go to a lot of Pitt games up at the old Pitt Stadium, and I used to support them as well. Now I talk a lot about Penn State, some about West Virginia in my area with college football. And I think this year Pitt's going to have an average season, and I see Pat Narduzzi possibly getting fired if this team once again slips and goes into a 6-game losing streak, get to a bowl game, and then losing 6 overtimes to a Toledo team. Toledo. All right. How do you lose to Toledo? I mean, if you're supposed to be a better team than Toledo. But that's
the same way Michigan loses to Appalachian State.
Yeah. I'll tell you a bad one. Pitt lost to Youngstown State, and I was there to witness it. Pitt lost to Youngstown State. And I got nothing against Youngstown State and Appalachian State. They're good football teams in their conference and stuff like that. But,
hey, Ralph, Mike, and Pensman, I got one team that might surprise everything. I don't think they'll make it, but watch out for Delaware. They're an upcoming new team. They're blue. I like their team. I was looking at some of their roster because I have the NFL, the college game. I was just looking at their real roster also. They're actually really pretty good. I think they'll be pretty good of what they're going to play this year. That would be a surprising team if they come up really good, this year. I would love to see what their team looks like for real,
Don't forget. Don't forget, Joe.
They haven't done much since Flacco left.
Yeah, exactly. All right, guys, let's get started with our, which is called a similar thing to another show that we used to do here, but I call it local. Hang on a minute. All right, let's see. We got the sports nuts. This says Delaware, the Blue Hens, they could end up 7 or win 7 and 8 games and start their FB's journey, their football journey. Yes,
Yeah.
indeed. And I want to
I
thank
think
the
there's a weird rule
sports nuts
though
for being on here today.
with
Go ahead.
there's a real weird rule with FBS teams coming from the championship series that I don't think they can go to bowls their first year.
Right.
That happened to JMU when they jumped from the FCS to the FBS. Despite the
Right.
fact that they were bowl eligible, they couldn't go to a bowl in their first year.
Right. Exactly. Yeah.
Okay.
And they had a really good team this past year, Mike. They really did.
They've had a couple of really good teams.
Yes, they do. There are a few of them out there. Youngstown State's one of them in most cases. So in Pittsburgh, they have Pitt, Duquesne, Duquesne and Robert Morris are both in the Northeast Division. And
Like they
I've
said,
had
they're a 2-year ban, and they haven't been. They're not allowed in a 2-year bowl. They're not allowed to bowl.
So there
in
you
2
go.
years.
There's your question.
yeah, there's the answer to your question there. Thank you. The Sports Nuts. Thank you for being involved. Thank you, Josh Dorr and Cy Brewski, for your comments as well. And as I mentioned, if it's not with the topic, we do not air it up here on the screen. So, but I do thank you for your comments. They're always welcome. So there you go. All right. Yeah, all right, guys. Let's get into our local segment. Start with you, Pensman Local. What's going on in your neck of the woods? As the weatherman on the Today Show, Al Roker would say, "What's in your neck? What's going on in your neck of the woods?"
Well, if you see behind me, the Yankees are they have their virtual stadium, and they still suck. So hopefully, we can get our act together and start playing like the normal Yankees instead of what we've been playing. The Penguins they start playing in 59 days, something like that, 60 or 59 days. So Pittsburgh Penguins, they're getting ready to go to training camp soon and getting their season going. Geno Smith just celebrated his 39th birthday, so happy birthday to Geno. So I'm looking forward to hockey now. I'm pretty much done with baseball, even though I'm still going to cover to the end. I'm still going to watch to the end. Basically on my deathbed of baseball.
All right, Mike Simsack, go ahead, local. What's going on in your neck of the woods?
Summer is that time in the DC area that we measure by the number of days in between when the Washington Capitals season ends and the Washington Commanders training camp starts. The best thing that has happened recently in this area is U.S. women's national team star Trinity Rodman, who has been out pretty much since April with a reoccurring back injury, is finally back in training for the Washington for Washington Spirit, which remain the area's best hope for any sort of competitive team in the summer. I know it's about 2 years before we get to it. I know it is 2 years until we get to the next Women's World Cup, but it's nice to see her back. She is an important part of the U.S. women's national team setup and the Washington Spirit setup as they try and make it back to the NWSL championship game and actually win this year.
All right, Brian Pettit.
There's a lot of going on. My two kids are starting school this week. Well, one started yesterday. I don't know why they started on a Friday. And one of my kids start on Monday. So that's what's going on here. Also, you got Clemson football starting up. They started camp this week. So a lot's going to go over there. You got all kinds of things. And by the way, the next 3 days are going to be beautiful here. It's supposed to be in the 70s, which is really surprising, not in the hundreds. So we need a break. And also is, as the Sports Note said, shout out to the upstate of South Carolina getting a false fall this weekend. Yes, exactly. So we're getting a little fall right now, and it's supposed to rain too. So, it's going to rain a little bit this weekend, but hopefully after this, I'm probably going to go out there and cut grass. But all kinds of festivals going on here because it's summertime, and it's going to be a crazy time because the kids are going back to school. So everybody's going to be going nuts. And also you got Clemson starting with their schools soon too. So you're going to have a lot of college kids and around. So that's what's going on in my world.
All right. My world, down here in Berlin, Maryland, I had, I've got, or we have our 12-year-old little league team, or whatever they call it there, was just involved in a state championship down in Salisbury, and unfortunately they came up short. They lost 1-0, and but I want to put a shout out to them because they had a really good season this year, despite the fact they didn't make it to the big game. But they had a really good season. They have a really good coach as well, the Berlin team. The girls have also made it to the championship in softball, and they came up short. So it seems like everybody in Berlin, Maryland, as far as sports team, keep coming up short. That's because I'm here. I know I bring bad luck to people sometimes, but it's because I'm here. That's so.
Hey, Ralph,
Yeah.
one other thing that I was going to tell you is also down in where I live at, they're going to have the Senior League baseball tournament starting this weekend. It goes, I think it runs until about the 16th. So that's going to start up. I think they do that this week at one of the civic center, or not a civic center, but other things like that around here. So yeah, they'll be doing baseball tournament this weekend. So
Oh, by the way, I forgot to tell everybody they had the annual 100th edition of the pony swim. Oh my gosh, you should seen these ponies swimming away in the water, and it's like a little race, and then afterwards they have an auction, and it goes to charity and stuff like that. So I want to let everyone know about the pony swim as well. So let everyone know about that. So we had a guy once when I'm going to tell you a little story here. We had a guy once. I used to drive a cab in Pittsburgh for about 15 years. We had our own little group where we would get on the radio and talk amongst each other what trips we were doing, things like that. And if we had any trips that we couldn't cover, we would call each other or get on the radio. So this guy, he always went to the off-track betting place, to bet on the horses. So every time he would say he was back on the road and he was at the betting place, we would all go, So I thought that was pretty funny anyway. But Pitt, as far as college goes, in Pitt and Pittsburgh, Pitt Panthers started their training camp, and Eli Holstein will be the starting quarterback. We're going to find out where they go this year with this go offense for the second year in a row. I hope it's fast. It moved fast at the beginning of the year and then slowed down toward the end. I hope it doesn't happen like that this year. And we'll see what happens if Pat Narduzzi keeps his job. He's on eggshells right now. Alan Green, the athletic director, has come out and said that both Narduzzi and Jeff Capel, the men's basketball coach, Jeff Capel, and the football coach, Pat Narduzzi, are on notice, which means he's going to be out there evaluating them, find out what they're going to do, and he'll sit down with the chancellor and see if maybe perhaps we can get Pat Narduzzi out of here. I think it's time for a change of Pitt. He's been around 10 years. I get it. But it's just, when you go to bowl games, you don't win them. And then you have a 6-game losing streak last year. And I get you had injuries, but you had depth and you didn't use it right, things like that. He keeps changing offensive coordinators like we change our clothes and things like that, with Pitt. And that's getting kind of old. So it's time for Narduzzi to go. It's time for a change. Just like with the Steelers, I think in the next 2 years, I think Mike Tomlin's going to step away. He'll have his 20 years in. He's trying to beat Don Shula's regular season record. If he does so, good for him. And, I always call him mediocre Mike because that's where he's been all these years. And I know there's people out there, oh, he's been in the playoffs. Oh, he did this. Oh, he went to the Super Bowl with Bill Cowher's players now. He went to 2 Super Bowls, won one, lost one, which he shouldn't have lost that one to Green Bay. But anyway, so here we are,
Thanks, Mendenhall. Thanks, Mendenhall.
I'm sorry, what's that?
I said thanks, Mendenhall, for fumbling.
Yeah, exactly. So you see what I'm saying? So, yeah, how do you lose a game to a defense that had 5th and 6th string corners and whatnot in the game, and you're not passing on them? So I just want to say I think that's some of the stuff that should go on. Who the Pirates should hire as a manager? Last week we had this discussion, and I said Joe Madden because I know he's 71 years old, Pensman, and I know he's old. But you know what? Smoking Jim Frazier said it. With the Pirates need somebody with gray hairs in there to come in there and fix that team, and I think Joe Madden can do it. All right, let's go around here and tell everybody how they can get a hold of you and your final thoughts. Mike Simsack, go ahead, we'll start with you. Final thoughts and how can people get a hold of you?
South Carolina's not the only one that's getting a false fall this weekend. It's actually kind of nice here in DC. So after this, I'm going to go out and enjoy the good weather while we still have it before it goes back into a muggy swamp. You can find me
Oh,
Too Many Guys Too Many Guys Sports on YouTube, X, and Facebook, as well as Amped Up Sports on YouTube and Facebook.
all right. Brian Pettit, how can people get a hold of you? Final thoughts. Go ahead.
My thoughts are you can find me on X at Brian Pettit at 35, or you can find me on YouTube at Tiger Stripes Media, or it's on at TS Media. There you go. So there's my logo, and you can find me on YouTube there. So that's about the only two places I'm doing it right now. So,
all right. Okay, we got Pensman Sports. Pensman, how can I get a hold of you?
You can find me on Pensman Sports, and I'm at 850 now, trying to get to that 1,000 before week 1 of the NFL season. And you can find me on Twitch at Pensman Sports 07. And you can find me on X at Pensman Sports as well.
All right, if you look up in the top of your screen, Amped Up Sports, that's where Mike Simsak's from. I appreciate them letting me upload my show onto their YouTube channel, and I'm hoping to do more with a lot of other people as well. So we'll see where that all goes. Still working on a whole bunch of stuff. Try to get my word out there. You can catch me on YouTube, Facebook, Twitch, Twitter, X platform, and also we're on the Kick Network, Huddle Sports Network, for all sports and wrestling programming. Real quick, guys, before we go, we usually talk a little bit of wrestling today, but we don't have enough time. But first, I want to get your thoughts on the autopsy on Hulk Hogan. It said that he went into some kind of cardiac arrest. He had leukemia and some other sources of some cancer. Mike Simsak, I don't know if you know much about wrestling and Hulk Hogan, but your thoughts on the death of Hulk Hogan?
I mean, he was a WWE icon. I can remember watching him growing up. He was probably one of the great.
He was one of the guys that made wrestling what it is. Yes.
Yeah, I mean, and so we wouldn't have the WWE what it is today without Hulk Hogan. So legendary figure, and the wrestling community mourns his passing. They lost a really big figure.
Yes, absolutely. Brian Pettit, go ahead. Final thoughts on Hulk Hogan. I forgot to bring this up.
He's an icon in a lot of people's eyes. And I'll just say this. I was at the beach, and I don't know if it was during the summer or somewhere, but I think it was the WrestleMania 1. And I was at the beach and sitting in the living room watching him take on Andre the Giant in WrestleMania 1, if that's right.
That was 3. That was 3. The first,
and that's when I actually first watched wrestling. So I watched actually him slam the Andre the Giant.
Right.
Yeah, in the first WrestleMania. And also, I found this out. I was reading some of where he's been. He's actually where I used to live in Greenwood, South Carolina. He actually wrestled one of the wrestlers there in Greenwood. So I didn't realize that. I was looking back through his history because it lists all the history where he's been. So he's actually been in the upstate of South Carolina, near where I used to live at. So that's kind of surprising. And I know he's been to some of the arenas around here, but that was just amazing looking back at his histories, all the matches, where he's been. But he's lost an icon about his medical thing. I mean, some things are a secret about everybody, and he kept it a secret, but it's what people, are going to lose an icon. I think SummerSlam tonight is going to be crazy because they're probably going to do another honor of him tonight. So all prayers to the SummerSlam people that work for WWE. Also, Vince McMahon had a bad wreck this week. So prayers for him, though.
Yeah, Vince McMahon. Yeah. Yes, I mentioned about that. Thank you for that. Vince McMahon had a bad wreck. Please
so it's been a bad week for WWE.
Oh, well, Vince McMahon's no longer involved, Brian. I mean,
but I'm just saying.
I know, but still, prayers out for Vince McMahon, the man who made wrestling what it is today as well. Pensman Sports, real quick, Hulk Hogan, go.
I'd like to thank everybody that is in the Silver Dome. it's always good to be at the Silver Dome, and everybody that was a classic. That was a highlight. He did that in WrestleMania, and then all the Hulkmanias they remind him that he's at the Superdome, not the Silver Dome. So he's a good guy. He was a look. Everybody's gonna do what they're gonna do off the camera. Like you can't.
Yeah.
Everybody makes mistakes. You can't judge. You can't do that. You can't hate the guy for what he does.
Well,
So.
think about the good things that he's done over the years with wrestling.
He was part of the NWO. He started that up. He, like Brian
general
said,
manager of Impact Wrestling, stuff like that.
That's what's going on. And I like to add one more thing before I go, that Drew McIntyre did make it back to the United States. So
yeah, we saw that.
Everything's back to normal with Drew McIntyre. So he's back in the U.S. So that's a plus.
Real quick, I want to put a shout out to Big Bill Collier, who I had the privilege of watching in independent wrestling up in Pittsburgh area in Western Pennsylvania. Big Bill is now the bodyguard for Mustafa Ali. If you watch Impact Wrestling and you see the big guy with the glasses standing behind him with the suit, that's Big Bill Collier. That man has fought EC3 and Rhino and several other wrestlers in the independent circuit. All right, and I want to congratulate him for getting that gig. He is now the bodyguard for Mustafa Ali on Impact Wrestling. I know Big Bill Collier very well, and I want to congratulate him on that as well. So, all right, guys, for Mike Simsack, thank you for being part of the show today from Amped Up Sports, Pensman Sports, and Brian Pettit. And I also want to say, please follow and subscribe to our YouTube channels. And also, my YouTube channel is Ralph Williams, RW Media. I'm trying to get the 3,000 as well on there. I'm already up to 2,200, and I'm trying to get the 2,300 first. Then I'm trying to get the 3,000. I would really love to do that as well. And you're going to be seeing more programming coming up in the next week or two. Tony Moreno and I are going to be doing a show. We are coming up with a name for it, but we're going to be doing a show. It'll be on Thursday nights around 7 o'clock. So we're going to be doing that as well. I'm getting back into the media circuit a little bit more now as things are starting to calm down just a bit down here in Maryland for me. As you know, I moved to Berlin, Maryland, right near Ocean City as well. All right, guys, let's wrap it up for Pensman Sports. Brian Pettit, Mike Simsack. Everybody have yourself a great weekend, and please be safe until next Saturday. Don't forget the triple header of Ralph every single Saturday right here as part of the triple header, the Saturday Sports Show. Until next week, have yourself a great one. Thank you.